What's up, everyone? Project Itachi here, reminding you to check out our Patreon page, which is full of bonus content, exclusive merch, promo codes, and access to our premium podcast, GZ After Dark. Sign up for any tier and be part of the action. Check it out at patreon.com/the GZ Chop Shop. Also, be sure to leave us a review wherever you listen to our podcast. And now, to the show. Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the GZ Chop Shop.
Bienvenidos,
coming in
pendejos.
strong. And there he goes.
Here we go. Itachi, I don't even know why you try to make intros anymore.
Bro, you know.
Yuli is going to either throw you an intro or outro mix up.
It was funny because what was the last episode? I guess he forgot. And when I actually was expecting
He didn't forget.
it,
He planned.
Yeah, it's like
you
I'll never
tell
know.
with me.
I know.
You know what?
I think
Itachi, one of these days you should start off your podcast, like the podcast, and you should just come in and be like, "How you doing, everyone?" Yuli can go fuck himself, and you just gotta go. You gotta go with this flow.
That'd be a good one. I'll be like, "Fuck you too, dog."
Just immediately start the podcast with roasting Yuli, and then
we just go into it.
Continue on with normal.
Got to work on your roasting game, Itachi.
I know.
Itachi's the most
one skill I lack.
PG person here that he doesn't roast anybody.
We were playing Apex last night. I couldn't tell if he was unenthused, excited, having a good time, or tired.
We won.
No idea. We were doing amazing, by the way.
Aggro Itachi and PG Itachi are exactly the same. There's no telling the difference. Yeah, voice tone wise, exactly the same.
There's certain words Aggro Itachi would say or not say.
That is very true.
No, you know what? Here's the thing. If Itachi's aggro, he'll take long pauses between each word.
You're right.
He is not wrong. You're right. I never realized that, but he's not wrong.
Between each word, there's a pause, and he's just like,
you can tell when he's about to quit something.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, because he'll get really quiet, like more quiet than usual, and then he'll be like, "Guys, I need to go," and then he just leaves, and you're like,
"Hold up,
is he okay? Like, do we need to call him?" Like,
you know what we missed, and what Itachi should have recorded is when he logged back into Minecraft to see what his little hut in the hole was like.
Oh my gosh! I was legit. Who put the water in there? That's what I want to know. Who flooded my hut?
That was me. 100% of that was me.
I knew it. I was so pissed.
I've never heard of anyone rage quitting Minecraft ever. I didn't know that it was possible for a grown man to be like, "I'm done."
What happened? So Itachi was logged off of Minecraft for 2 weeks, and I was getting bored and pissed that the owner of this Minecraft server wants to start it, isn't doing shit in his server. Like me, Tricky, and A-Rod were all there building our bases. We're doing great. And I'm like, this motherfucker Itachi ain't doing shit in here. We're doing all the legwork for him? Nah, fuck that. So I go in his little hut. I had like 20 stacks of eggs, and I'm just chucking eggs until there's chickens. Just all of them. So I filled this little hut with chickens. Then I go outside, and I see the little tunnel he created. I'm like, I'm gonna fill this up with water. So I go to the top of every block and fill every block with water.
The whole thing.
I get attacked by raiders, so one of the raiders dropped their banners, and I'm like, you know what? Here's a little gift for Itachi. Bam! Snack dab in front of his door,
right
under all
in
that
front
water.
of the door.
I do want to thank Yuli for something though, and I know that's crazy. What? I'm using the word Yuli and thank in the same sentence.
This can't be good.
No. At work, right? When I'm having to communicate with patients that speak Spanish or any language I don't understand. We usually have a language line we have to use, so there's a third party, and it takes a little bit. Thanks to Yuli, I didn't know Google Translator was a thing. Like I've heard of it, but I didn't know like it was as easily accessible and user friendly as it is. So I started using it at work, dude, and talk about easy day, total just easy communication between me and the patients. And
all
the
you
whole
gotta do is like turn around, and then they'll be like, go turn around in Spanish.
So I was trying to, I pulled it out, and I had a patient asking me how their family member was doing and stuff, and I used Google Translator. Easy day right there. And people were looking at me. I'm like, get good.
Get good, bro. Google doesn't tell you what they do in Mexico. They got good magic in there.
So thank you for that heads up.
No problem.
pretty helpful.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do when I go to Japan and I gotta like translate because my Japanese I can only count from 0 to 4 right now.
Me and Itachi won't have that problem.
We'll be good. Once you know it, though, you'll never
when
forget
Itachi
it.
gets there, like all of the Japanese will be like, "Oh, American black man with a big dick."
Dude, it's true. They will stop a black man way more than a white guy to take a picture. Am I wrong, Itachi?
Doug.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Hold up. So there's this other podcast I listened to. I'm not going to say the name, but they were talking about how Asian guys hate it when Asian girls date white guys, and they call it what's it called? Victimize Asian.
Wow.
Next topic. Moving on.
Wow. Before we actually
back to
end the
Itachi's
episode,
hut. I filled the tunnel up with water. I filled it up
Are we
with water.
still on this?
No, hold on. I want to explain how methodical and evil I was.
Today's topic is just Yuli ranting.
I filled this tunnel up with water, and then I'm like, well, he can swim out of this hole. And at first, I did grass. Like, I just grew all the grass around that area to, like, 2 blocks high. And I'm like, this is kind of boring. Maybe we can make it worse. So I plan out the hole, and then I dig about a 20 by 20 sphere blocks of dirt.
He's tuned out. He's heard half the things you say.
So he can
because I'm the person who experienced it.
Of all the games we play, guys, of all the countless games we play, all the things we read and do, you leave it up to Yuli to turn Minecraft into something that full-grown adults can't, like, rage quit.
It was okay. Let me put it this way, because I was on the server by myself at first. It was so bad.
It was probably nicer.
I knew it was Yuli, but Yuli had achieved something that only randoms usually get out of me on video games. I was vocally talking out loud to nobody, cussing up a storm.
I don't think I've ever heard you, like, get angry and cuss.
That's how upset I was. I logged in and all.
How are y'all
I just want you to. I logged in and all I hear is. And I'm like, what the fuck? I look around and there's like 30 chickens staring me in the face. It was so bad the frames were dropping. That's how many chickens were locked in that spot.
I can't imagine that.
Like, it's drop frames in Minecraft.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what?
I was having frame issues.
You have a decent PC, so that's wild.
Yeah. I opened the door and I'm greeted by water. And his plan was so elaborate that even when I went up the other side, the water came in the hole I made and flooded the room.
It's like you go into the server, you appear in a dark, watery chicken room, and all you hear is, I know you, but you don't know me.
I knew it was Yuli because I kid you not, if I had recorded it, or if like somebody, whoever's like was spying on me through a webcam, the first words they heard me say out in the open was "fucking you."
Like you already knew.
I already knew. I was literally about to just log out, but I was like, no, screw that. I'm getting out of here. I'm building my damn house.
All right, so
I
we're
dug my way out.
Pretty much 12 minutes into the podcast, and we know Yuli's a total asshole. So that's what we've covered so far.
If you guys wanted some finite proof, there you go. Join the Patreon, hop in the server. The hut is still there. I'm not fixing it. I want everyone to witness what he's done to me.
I look forward to the stream we're going to do later because Yuli hasn't played this game yet, and I've barely played it, so it's going to be fun.
Don't let him learn too quickly. We already know what happens once he learns the game.
Oh no! It's gonna be really fun. When two people play a game they've both like really never played before, and especially a game like this, it's gonna be a good time. Yuli's gonna like it.
But before we get into the episode, can we all wish Kara a feeling better? She's not with us this week because she is not feeling too good.
Yeah,
so
Kara,
we're hoping that she feels better to join us next week. She was feeling kind of bad the way we were talking. She put herself in the box of shame because she couldn't join us.
And you know,
we all hope you feel better.
You know what? I wish Kara would have joined so I can hear her voice like, "What's going on, everybody?"
And whether it's Kara or anyone else, we got COVID going around. So if you guys, if you feel really short of breath and you really don't feel
Itachi, take a nap.
Sick in a normal way,
edit your videos.
go get checked out.
I like how Ward Nurse just pushed through you.
That's what you have to do. You have to ignore Yuli. I treat him. You gotta treat him like you do like your kids sometimes. Like you gotta just continue on with life and pretend he's not there, and then afterwards you can address it.
But yeah, log afterwards. Okay, so let's get into what we actually were going to cover today. Leading topic: CD Projekt Red getting hacked. They can't catch a break, man. They can't catch a break to save their lives.
Well, it makes sense that they would get hacked right now. Their company's under a lot of fire. And some sites are, well, they're not really paying attention to everything right now. They got too much to worry about. See if we can hack into it. They probably saw an opening, took it, and hacked. Like, they got source codes from, what was it, Cyberpunk, Witcher 3.
Witcher.
What is, help me out here. Too. What is the point of the hacking with this? I don't see the point. Is it for fun? Ransom?
They left a ransom note.
Ransom note. Like, what did it say? Well, what's this ransom note?
Basically monetary. It's basically a money thing, and basically they're saying, hey, if you don't pay us this amount of money, we're going to give it to our friends in gaming journalism. We're going to leak out your source code. They have a copy, they say they have a copy of an unreleased version of Witcher 3, which we know people who love Witcher 3 would be salivating at that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
they also have documents of accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. So, and this is from the actual picture of the ransom note they left, because they left it on a notepad note.
I don't get people. So they leave a ransom note. They say, I want X dollars for this in return. Where are they going to send this money? Like, how do they expect not to get caught? I want my money here, but I'm going to withdraw it.
You have 48 hours to contact us. So they probably did leave contact information, but they didn't put it on the post for Twitter because it's probably like a safety thing. Like, we don't want
I don't
to
see how they would collect their money without being tracked and then eventually caught. It just, the whole thing just seems completely ridiculous.
No, it's easy. Look, they say they don't want money. What if they did it with Bitcoin? You can't track Bitcoin.
Yeah, you can't track cryptocurrency. And even if they did it through funds, there's so many ways to wire funds. These guys are hackers for a living.
So they probably wire funds to different companies and be like, well, this was a transfer here. It got lost in this pile of money, but the same amount got transferred here. It could be done in different ways that...
Yeah.
Am I living my life wrong? These hackers just seem to be having a blast.
And that's the thing. That's why I'm glad you brought that up, because, CD has already said they're not going to pay the ransom. And pretty much law enforcement is saying that's the good way to go, because if they paid the ransom, it's helping convince people that shit, that must be the way to go. That's where the money is. Let me get in on that.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Well, probably not just that either, but if they do anything to pay the ransom, they're probably still going to release it, and they know that.
I would think these companies, especially one as big as them, would have anti-hacker systems or hackers themselves to deal with these things.
Well, we would have said the same thing about PlayStation.
I can't believe anyone even hacked Sony. That is beyond.
I wouldn't say it was Sony. It's a branch of Sony. Because Sony is a big conglomerate.
That's why I said PlayStation, though. It's specifically the PlayStation Network that got hacked.
Yeah.
But, there probably are other hacks that we don't know about that they kept quiet because it wasn't stolen personal information that they had to tell people, but probably stole a document or two.
So the motivation for these hackers isn't really motivation at all. It's just something they like doing. They enjoy doing it. It's
their motivation was just money.
Some hackers.
What's the point besides the money? What's the point?
Well,
it has to be just for fun, just because they can, just to troll.
Probably some fame.
One is just
they're getting something out of it.
Yeah, to prove that they can do it. Two, there have been hackers who have intentionally, and they've revealed themselves, to the company. Hey, I hacked you. This is how. Hire me, and I can prevent this from happening. So some people have used it as a job resume.
These guys are over hacking multi-billion-dollar companies, and I'm over here Audacity, that's record. If I want to edit, I cut this and move it.
What's a MP3?
What's a newsletter?
But no,
do you think hackers have newsletters for their little groups? You think?
Oh, straight up, they got.
You think they send each other like on this week's agenda and
encrypted newsletters? You go.
And there's that one guy
Reddit.
like, I don't get it. He's like a new hacker. Like, what's a newsletter?
What's a newsletter?
That'd be me if I was a hacker. I'd be like,
you find them.
Can I do something else? Because I don't know how to do any of that. I'd be there for like morale or something. Like, go guys.
He would be there for one day, and then he would get the notice, you have been removed from this group. You're done.
They'd probably just hack all my shit, take it, and then
you're done. Goodbye.
Let me go.
But they're saying that they feel that a lot of this is just basically probably some like I guess resentment, because pretty much everyone knows the state Cyberpunk 2077 is in, and to think that there aren't people who are obviously hackers that, you know, didn't get their hands on the game would just be naive. So it could be a group, it could be one person posing as a group, but they do believe that Project Red being, because other companies that have been hit like this before, Ubisoft being one, and there was a couple others, there's something, they say there's no connection between it, but I'm like, I think if you know your game and you do your research, some of these companies have been known to just do stupid stuff. Like Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed Unity in such a broken state it pissed fans off. Yeah, it's fixed now.
Free games. Hold up. Let me add this to it. They gave us an option to pick like something out of 5 free games, and they weren't any good. I like the 5 games that nobody plays. So maybe they're like, maybe we can get people to play these games for once. I got The Crew, and I would have to say that is the worst. Even if it was free, I wanted a refund.
A refund of your time.
It was that bad for me. Yeah. No.
It's wild to me because as a gamer, like, sure, like when there's pushbacks or mistakes or maybe, you know, bugs in games, like, you know, as bad as Cyberpunk, I've never been like so upset that I wanted to lash out in any way. A lot of times it's like in my head, I'm like, I get it for these reasons, or, you know, it's a game, shit happens, you know, whatever. I can't imagine like 7 Days to Die. I've been playing that for like 6 or 7 years. That game, it's not a big popular game, you know, like some like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption or whatever, right? But it has a lot of bugs, problems, updates, and you know, shit that kind of pisses me off sometimes. But I still don't think in my head like, damn it, this is bullshit, I'm gonna write a huge letter and complain and go all over social media. So, and that's with any game. So I don't understand. I think the reason it had to be Cyberpunk. It was the most hyped game out of everything. It was just the best target for everything, because there was a lot of people that are diehard fans of CDPR, and it was just bad. Because you can't really say GTA or Red Dead, because that has a broader base of fans. These games have a niche base. I mean, so you're basically picking on a certain group of gamers, because GTA and Red Dead, like, it's a wide variety. And that's just how they took it then.
Yeah,
like they took it extra personally. Because my point was just, it doesn't matter how big or small a game is. Like, I get it. That's just me. Like, sometimes, it sucks, but I understand.
Yeah, because
to an extent. But not to the point where I'm gonna lash out.
Yeah, well, people like GTA, Red Dead, and like Modern Warfare, and Assassin's games, and Far Cry games. But those games reach a broader, expanded people.
Well, and you know, with Call of Duty, we expect a bunch of bullshit all the time these days.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty.
I think we're going to see a big rise in, I won't say that this falls in the case of being a vigilante, kind of like what we saw with the GameStop thing, but I think we're going to see a big rise in these incidences, because, you know, reading the article just last year, they had an increase of these source code hacks, and where they were saying that, here's the thing I've learned about news media: when they're very eager to tell you it's a coincidence, there's nothing connected, that's when you know shit's connected. Because they know that if they
who's paying them.
Exactly, and if they tell you, yeah, things are connected. They know it's going to cause panic. People are going to start pulling their money out. So they have to say, oh, it's a coincidence. None of these things are connected. It's just a thing that's happening. So people stay calm, control the masses, keep us calm. But looking at the names, the three of them, Ubisoft, Capcom, Crytek, I would say the only one, because I don't really play Crytek games, so I don't know if Crytek's been under a scope, but Ubisoft and Capcom have literally both been on the chopping block for shit they've done, whether it's like freaking microtransactions or upselling a game that's not finished. Looking at Capcom and Street Fighter, looking at Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed.
Would you say it's more like the newer generation of gamers that are getting so worked up about
absolutely
game? Yeah, because we came from a time where Super Nintendo, N64, like games got released and they were just, you look at games now compared to that, obviously they look like total garbage. But I think we just came from a different time where we get what we get and we're just happy with it for the most part, and we either play or we don't. You know what I mean?
The entire original Mario game is the size of a picture you take on your iPhone today.
Right. Well,
that's where we came from.
This is true. Anyone can look up what I'm about to say. I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. The technology that they used to get to the moon the first time, there is more technology in our smartphones now than the technology they used then to get to the moon.
Oh, that's proven.
And
it's insane. It's wild. Can I go to the moon, by the way? Hold
up. We also know that because there's a picture of them pulling like the 10 megabyte memory card for the moon lander. They needed a roller for it.
It was massive.
Wild.
Massive. And because technology is accessible to everyone, there's literally an app for everything. And I mean everything. Even if you don't find it on an app store, there's some underground place you could probably get an app for it. So there's literally courses that teach hacking now. Like you can YouTube almost anything.
And it's not illegal. It's not illegal to look that up and learn how to do it, because you're not doing it and you're not doing anything illegal. You're just
learning. Yeah. So you've got,
this
all
put
these
you on some kind of list though.
I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm sure they look at you more closely, but I'm sure they're on my phone right now looking at me because I said hack like 5 times.
Well, I'm pretty sure also that's how governments recruit. That's how, like, for hey, they want to hack and you're a good hacker.
Go to prison to do this.
Some go to prison or work for us.
If you're gonna be a hacker, be good. I guess that's the end of the point there.
Not even that, just be good enough to get hired by the government.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna be good, be good enough to get hired.
Be good enough to get hired and be willing enough to kiss your normal life goodbye.
Who needs a resume when you can just do something so illegally impressive? You get noticed by the U.S. government, and they're like, "Okay, you got talent."
I'm telling you,
jobs like
you're going to prison for having a gram of weed on you.
I'm telling you, this could be. Yeah, you're right. But I'm telling you, this could be a big promotional. This could be a big promotional stunt, or it could be a terrible attempt at being a vigilante, because it's not even like Cyberpunk put out microtransactions.
Well,
they're basically paying the price for the unfinished game.
Like, what is the vigilanteism here? They're not being a hero. They're not doing anything.
Well, I think he just meant being a hero in general, like all around.
In general, to some people, they might seem like they're being a vigilante because people are blaming CD Projekt Red for the state that Cyberpunk 2077 is in, and investors are sitting back like, yeah, it's their fault, totally their fault, and we're taking them to court. So, from those who are just going by what they hear instead of doing the research, they're like, yeah, CD Projekt Red, you deserve that. You had this coming for releasing a broken game when, without all the facts and all the pieces, it's just someone with a vendetta, trying to make a quick buck. And these source code people are also, like Yuli said, money, because they're not doing it to just gaming companies. They've been doing it to hospitals and a whole bunch of medical field places.
I can definitely speak for that on the healthcare side. There has been multiple healthcare systems over the past few years that have been hacked, like seriously hacked, to the point where people had to, like, whole hospitals or systems had to change everything, lock everything down. I have to have so many passwords now to log into so many different things at work. It's insane. But that's why, because of that.
Yeah. They got stopped from being able to buy all the hand sanitizer and $300 bulk at the store. So
N95 mask. I'm like, I would have given you one, man. You didn't have to hack it and like ruin my day. I'm just trying to go to work.
Yo, have you guys ever come up with like passwords so fucked up that no one wants to like type it in? Or is that
Of course, Yuli would have that. Those are your passwords, huh?
No, my mom came up with something that was really clever, and it was like, it wasn't even that it was far-fetched. She was like, you want a password that no one will ever figure out? She was like, pick something in the Bible. And I was like, actually, that makes sense.
It's not a... Yeah.
that makes sense, because like how many people would know anything in there?
Right. I'm sure few people have it memorized, to that extent.
Yeah, but then those few people, how do they know what religion we are? Or we would use that in our password.
Exactly.
What would I type in? A bunch of numbers and special characters, and then I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
agnostic.
Hey, look.
When I get to, when I die, let's say there's a God. I'll get up there and he'll be like, I'll be in line and he'll be rejecting some people, right? I'm just painting a picture. He'll be like, no, you rejected me. You did good. You did not. I get up there and he goes, you can come in. And I'm like, really? He's like, everyone's getting mad. Like, you told me I couldn't come in. And I'm like, well, and God's like, well, he didn't know. He just wasn't sure. He didn't reject me. He just didn't know. And I was like, I didn't know. I left it up to debate. And then I get in.
I'm sorry, I'm going to rain on War Nurse's parade there. I'm going to say he's going to get rejected because as soon as he gets there, he's going to be like, oh no, anyone who does not know what a newsletter is cannot come in.
He's like, oh, newsletter's here. I would volunteer. I'd be like, let me prove it.
We have a Heavens newsletter that goes out every week. Come on. Come on. You know what?
Gabriel's been working really hard on them, and you don't even know what a newsletter is. And I'm like, and I was like, he's like, you're going to hell. You know why? Because no one gives a shit down there. And I'm like,
dude, they're just gonna.
Can I at least bring my PC? No,
they're just gonna resurrect you. You're just gonna get a whole new life. Because even hell's gonna spit you back up. Like, oh, we got a newsletter down here too.
What if that's it? Like, the only way to get to heaven is to keep, like, you're on repeat until you get it right?
Until you get it right. Until you learn what a freaking newsletter is.
But we don't know that. And we're a little too happy. If this is hell, we're a little too excited about it.
Well, you know what? We're all going to get started over because Yuli's going to get sent back for thinking that being Jewish was a race. Yuli's going to get sent back alone just for the Minecraft bullshit. He's going to be, God will be like, Yuli, you were okay most of your life, but I saw what you did at Watachi on the Minecraft server. You're out of here. And then I'm gonna get the chickens was overkill.
Hold up. This is what legit's gonna happen. God's gonna look at me and go, I can't send you to hell. I can't leave you in heaven. You'll have fun in purgatory, and you'll just repeat the fucked up shit you did. I don't know what to do with you.
I don't know what to do with you. Just put him back on Earth. Start it over.
He'll just put you in the corner. Yuli, a chair with the words Yuli above it. It'll be just like a white background. He's like, you sit there and I'll figure this out later.
I'll figure it out later. I'll come back to you in like 500 years or something.
God's all knowing, but when it comes to Yuli, he's like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
I'm just going to get sent back on sheer principle.
Don't send him down here. I don't want to deal with them.
Guilty by association. He's gonna look at me and be like, you know what, you were fine, but you know what you dealt with.
And you still stay friends with
him. He's like, I don't know if I should just put you in the same corner as Yuli. Obviously, you have no problem with it. So yeah, we're all gonna be living it again. So I'll see you guys on the other side.
See you on the other side, Ray.
See you guys on the other side. Let's see if we get it right the next time. But so apparently CD Projekt Red leads to rebirth.
Judgment. It leads to judgment.
All right. Boom. There's the dot connection as typical of every episode.
Remember that Apocalypse episode of American Dad?
I haven't. I like American Dad, but I don't watch it like as much as I used to, like with Family Guy or something.
Oh,
but I mean, fire away, man.
So the episode's like
there was a pause. Like
He was
he wants to ruin Attack on Titan and other things for me, but you don't want to ruin an episode of American Dad?
I never spoiled anything from Attack on Titan. I always teased it, but I never spoiled shit. So let's get that straight.
But American Dad, you pause.
Yeah, it's American Dad.
It's sacred.
What the fuck is
It's
wrong with
American Dad. Sacred Dad.
morning,
I mean, think about
USA.
Yuli's sense of humor. You think about Yuli's sense of humor. American Dad is right up his alley. It's like a sacred thing.
I do sing the theme song at work sometimes, though. Like when I come in
God.
the morning, I'm in a good mood. I'm like, "Good morning, USA. I've got a feeling that it's gonna be a wonderful day." And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Hey, get good. I'm just having a good day, man."
In this other Discord, we're talking about weather, and they're mentioning their temperatures in Celsius, but they put the C, and I'm like, the fuck is C? Communism? What are freedom units, you motherfuckers?
Communism? How does that connect? Anything? It's like if people, someone doesn't understand something you're saying or thinking or philosophizing, they're like, communism, and then they connect that and they're like, socialism, and you're like, I was just trying to talk about a game company.
And immediately those words. Oh god, that just brings up like what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about like some of the jokes and humor, and it's like, hey, do you think this would be a bad thing to say? And I was like, yeah, because sensitive people. It's just.
And then there's me like,
gonna go
is it
south
bad
real
if I say this?
fast.
Yes, it's bad. I'm gonna say it anyway.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna
Well,
drop
I
it out
asked
there
Itachi,
anyway.
I was doing video edits earlier, and I was asking Itachi, I was like, some of these clips have you holding a bottle of vodka. What are the rules? Are they the same with social media across the board, or what? Like, and his response was good because he said, just clip things that don't show me holding the bottle.
I mean,
I'm asking questions, and he's like, we're just going to be safe. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, is it really that bad? Like to be
It's
out
not
there
that
and like
bad.
you're holding a bottle of vodka?
No.
You know?
not bad for the brand. I mean, they'll be happy, and then they'll
No,
be
you
the
can
first
keep
ones
it
to be like,
on-
hey, we don't endorse it.
Yeah, and that I wouldn't have thought about that, but you're way better with this. You're smarter with this stuff. You're more insightful, and I would have clipped something like that, thinking it was funny or whatever, and you would have probably looked at it correctly and been like, no.
Yeah.
If they're not gaining off of it, and then we say things that they don't like, then
I don't think it's an issue to have like a bottle in a video. Especially like the people we try to reach for are pretty mature kind of like people we're trying to reach, so that I don't think we'd have like
I would think if
you know what,
movies
I'm not gonna say
have
this,
to pay
like, little
every
kids
single
shouldn't
thing that,
even be here.
whether
Like,
it's a
if
car
you-
brand or whatever, movies have to pay for the rights to show those things in their movies.
Well, that's why they took out the tags and the branding,
Right.
and it's
So,
just a generic truck.
I would think the same would go for
Generic
like
car.
videos.
For the most part,
tricky
you're right, but it's also depending on who sees it when, because you get someone who, like in our case, we're pretty much up and coming. We're not in the position of like a big movie industry where we have thousands of dollars in our pockets to, fight a legal battle if it came to that. It all comes down to
we're that insignificant.
We're that insignificant. But it just takes that
I don't
one
see nothing
person.
coming out of my wallet.
I
saw a moth fly out of it.
I
Yeah, you
saw
saw
a
a
moth
moth
fly out of there.
Laugh like I'm gonna go somewhere else. So he has nothing to eat.
But yeah, it's all about. It's literally as that old saying: perception is reality. You just need that one person. Prime example: Twitch. You just need that one person to perceive it differently than it is actually happening, and it just goes straight down the shitter after that, because
It makes it hard for people to have fun these days.
yeah, basically you just need that, because you could have 1,000 people love it, laugh at it. But prime example, on Instagram, when Kevin Hart's special on Netflix came out, Zero Fucks Given, he had a little shirt made for his new baby, and it was the shirt of Zero Fucks Given. And people were like slamming him, basically saying, that like basically he would have thought he was abusing his child. All because he had the little shirt on his kid representing his show. I'm like, okay, are you insulted by the name of the show or the fact that, like, I didn't see what the issue was.
It's funny you say that because my daughter, when she was about 5, I let her wear one of my Rick and Morty shirts, like as like to go to sleep in, and it didn't say anything bad on it. It was just a picture of Rick and Morty, and I posted it to social media, like whatever. And like you're saying, like for the most part, people thought it was cute, it was funny, but there was a couple people that were like, "That's not appropriate," and I was like, "You can get, I don't give a shit." Like I never say anything back. I just block them because I'm like, "Fuck you." I don't play keyboard warrior, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you
like,
always lose.
You know, it's wild to me.
Yeah,
and it reminds me of something that you might know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say his name. There was a chief in the Navy that we both had for a while. He was notorious for many things, and I love the guy. He was amazing. But he told me one time, you can do a million things right. You can do a million good things, and all it takes is one negative thing to put you in the spotlight, and that's how everyone will perceive you.
Yep.
He says it's not fair, but it's true. And it sucks. It sucks. Now, I'll never forget when he said that. And it just goes to show you, man. And that's the way it's even more true today than ever.
I think there's 2 critical factors that play into that kind of mindset. One being misery loves company.
Yeah.
And 2, everybody likes drama. To some extent, everybody likes drama.
It's true, and Yuli has plenty. He gives us plenty of drama, and we love it.
We have our own internal drama.
I'm the drama.
Yuli is literally the TV show
I just start talking
writer.
shit.
And I don't know about you guys, but as I've gotten older, I'm 32 now, and as I've gotten older, in my mind, I feel like I can't really and shouldn't really judge other people that much, because I know I've done a lot of things I really wish I didn't do or had done differently. So Absolutely. I look at myself, and then I see other people in a fucked up situation, and someone, they're like talking shit, and I'm like, how many skeletons do you have in your closet? Like, you got to remember, like, we don't think other people have been through some of the same things we have done or made the mistakes that we have done. So maybe we should bite our tongue, open our mind up a little bit, and be more accepting that everybody makes mistakes, everybody has skeletons, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I always side-eye people who come off strong with the holier-than-thou approach to anything. Because I'm like, no, trust me. I would be more suspect of the person who says they don't have skeletons in their closet.
No,
Itachi was going to hate me the first time I played with him.
I want to know Itachi's skeletons, but he won't share them.
Oh, I have them, but I'm not sharing.
Can you share one, like minor one, maybe?
I mean, I did.
He shared it after dark. He had 7 skeletons in his closet.
7? You only have 7?
No.
Was I high?
We know about that.
You were high. You were high.
I might have been high.
But the number 7 has a different.
I hope no one at work sees this podcast, because prove it.
But no, the one I did share about being banned from the Walmart across the country until I was 18.
Oh yeah.
That was so funny.
My grandfather used to have because I got caught shoplifting.
Why did you shoplift?
So
okay, how old were you first?
I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Oh, I was a freshman in high school.
Because I did stupid shit. Like, I'd shoplift, like, dumb shit, like pens and shit. Like, nothing crazy.
No,
I was shoplifting Yu-Gi-Oh! Card tins. I was taking this.
You could have shoplifted.
I'm proud of it.
I'm proud of it. Get in trouble for this.
I'm proud of it.
I never shoplifted cards or nothing like that. I shoplifted these fucking things.
What is that?
He still has them. Whoever he took those from, go find him right now.
Are those Pogs? Are those the Pogs?
The Disney Infinity disc for the game Disney Infinity. Because I was gonna pay
I thought those were Pogs. Does anyone still have Pogs? Did y'all play Pog?
I used to. I don't have any anymore.
I thought that was a stack of Pogs. I was like, is that a weight? That's wild.
I took Yu-Gi-Oh! I go grab the tins from the front. I went to one of the clothing aisles. I'd open it up. I take everything out, and then I'd stuff the empty tins in the clothes.
When you're a nerd, but you can't afford the things you want to nerd out on. but you're just an innocent guy. Like, you just want to nerd out on something.
I just wanted to nerd out. So I had, the thing is, I had been successful at it multiple times, but today, that day,
this wasn't a one-time incident.
No, you don't do that one time and you get away with it and think like, oh, that's it. Usually,
so what went wrong this time? Did you get?
I didn't
too
listen
cocky?
to the signs, so I've always had a very strong conscience and pretty much good intuition. I just don't listen.
Except when it comes to me, apparently.
Except when it comes to Yuli. One day I'll figure it out. But
Yuli can't
all the
ban
signs
you from every
were
Walmart,
there.
though.
Yeah, you're right.
Or can he? Or
He probably could.
I probably could. If I figure it out, I'll do it.
But the signs were there. It was the middle of we were like in a warm spell. It was like we were entering spring. So it wasn't really cold, but for some reason this one day it was cloudy and gloomy. I was even looking up the skies like, today doesn't seem like a good day to pull this off. I probably should go home. The buses were running slow. I actually had a crappy day. It's like all the signs were there that this is just not the day to do it. And everything was telling me,
using your
go
gaming
back.
senses. They weren't tuned enough at that young age.
Something was telling me though to like turn back, you idiot, turn back. And I'm just like, nah, I got this. I've done it like 100 times now. I walked in, surveyed the situation. My first mistake was I wasn't the only one doing it. So they were already on the floor looking for another kid, which put me on their radar. And I got overly greedy.
Oh man! The more you do it, the more greedy you get. Huh?
I got greedy because I had pulled it off. So I was like, all right. And when I was finally done, I was like, all right, I'm going to leave. For some stupid reason, instead of going out the exit, I wanted to go out the entrance because usually if you don't buy anything, nobody cares what door you go out of. So I was like, well, I didn't buy anything. So I'm just going to go out the entrance door like, every other black person in this Walmart because they don't care.
Get stopped and asked to see the receipt.
Yeah, but if you don't have bags and stuff, they usually just don't care. Like the greeters aren't going to stop you. But the one time the guy was undercover security, he was in civilian clothes. I get to the door, I'm like, I literally can see outside. I can feel the breeze on my face. And then I feel this hand grab me on the arm. And he was like, you fucked up.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. He knew I was like, you fucked up. He was like, you're coming with me. And that was the longest walk through. And the thing is, they don't let you go. So when you're walking, everyone sees you and you have to take that walk of shame. So everyone knows.
Itachi, I wonder, okay, you know when you see someone pulled over on the side of the road, like when you're going down the highway and you're like, all right, the cop's busy so I can keep speeding? I wonder if people were thinking that about you. Like if there's a couple people like, all right, he's busted so I can keep
He's
stealing.
busted so I can keep
walking right out that door. They're busy with him, so I'm out.
I'm telling you.
You paved the way for someone else to get away with it.
I paved the way for someone else to walk out because I think he was the only one and I happened to get caught. So I'm pretty sure the next kid was like, I'm out.
I'm out. He got himself a nice deck.
He got himself a nice one, dude. When I sat in the
holograph minted dragon deck or something. So do you have any cards left that cards you got away with that you still have that are good cards?
No. So I actually had sold so not long after that happened,
you sold them from shame?
I was like,
shame sell them?
I did.
I'm not looking back on this life anymore. They gawked at you like you're a thief.
I think he knew because he was like, well, we can't resell them. And I had my own cards with me. And he was like, well, they're pretty much yours now. But you better hope that you know, one of your guardians can come pick you up. Otherwise, we're going to have to turn you over. And the worst part is the dividing line between my city and the next county was literally a street. And because I was technically in the next county, their legal system was way harsher. So I would have been totally fucked if my grandfather hadn't come and picked me up that day because they were like, we will have to turn you over to Cheltenham County. And yeah. And the worst part was I was in the school that was the hardest to get into in my city. Immediately, that would have been expulsion. If they ever had found out, I would have immediately been expelled. No, I went. It was a public school, but it was the top public school in our city. So yeah.
Okay, because I don't know how that works. Because in Texas, you just, unless you go to a private school, you get what you get.
No, yeah. Here it's so we had, you know how like when you're applying for high schools.
No.
And if
we go to high school in our district.
Oh no, we had to apply
to a high school.
Do you? That's some Japan ass shit right there.
Oh yeah, here,
what the fuck,
here
man?
you can like
they do that in Japan.
Can,
like you have to earn high school.
Yeah, here you could apply for like your high schools. We weren't automatically sent to the feeder school. Like you could apply for high schools, but your grades determined whether they picked you up or not. So it was kind of like going to college. Like you apply for many colleges.
What the fuck? All I knew is like, what do you want to do? You want to go into agriculture, business, like arts? Like where do you want to go? And here's the classes you take. But they assign you to school.
Yeah, no. So if you didn't get picked up by any of those schools, you were assigned to the next feeder school, which for me was going to be a nightmare because it was like one of the most violent. So they gave us the choice of applying for high schools, and I put one of the top. I literally put the top one in our city, and I got in. But
did you get
anything
in with
that
all those theater girls?
No.
Those other guys.
I want to know the conversation your
a
grandfather had with you after he picked you up and drove you home.
It was actually the one time he was very quiet. But for some,
that
was like the worst. That was super scary because he was in the Navy and he was never quiet. He was not a quiet man.
Was he retired Navy?
He was. No. He got out after like 10 years and then he worked for the government.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Same difference there. Like he was rugged. He
was the old school Osimhen. Yeah. So like quiet was not in his personality, but that day he was quiet. And it was funny because what I thought he was going to do, my mom was actually like when my mom came home, she was ready to book at me. So it was like bringing shame to the family. And it was my grandfather who actually had to step in and be like, you know what? Calm down. It was like nobody spoke to me for like a week. My walks to school were so depressing.
Probably done something that age too and realized like you're just being a kid. You got caught. I know you're not going to do it again.
So I think he knew that was going to break me of that habit because I never did it again.
It's not uncommon. Like, you know, there's plenty of kids that get in trouble once or so in high school or middle school for doing something stupid. And for the most part, they'll get away with it as like a minor issue. Like they don't have their lives ruined. Kids do stupid shit. But what was harder, Itachi? Was it facing your family for shoplifting, or was it facing your family for shoplifting Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
So,
look, guys,
for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you got caught for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You didn't even try to steal a cell phone or nothing like that. At least make it worth it.
Look. I'm just gonna say, no matter what, it was hard facing the family. There was kind of
Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Bet you.
So here's the thing: my grandfather didn't even know. My grandfather didn't even know what Yu-Gi-Oh cards were. All he saw was they showed him what I did, and they were like, it was like X amount of packs, and all he knew he just knew it was trading cards, and then took the walk of shame back through the Walmart. Never realized how big a Walmart is until you have to take a walk of shame. And like for some reason, you notice how many people actually look at you when you're walking in a store because it's like everybody knows you went in with one and you came out with another.
It's true.
Yeah. So everybody knows. And he started making it a joke after a while, like after like a couple weeks passed. We would go to Walmart And for like my mom and grandma were like, they never like joked about it. My grandmother was like really upset about it. She'd be like, you'd be able to go to this Walmart if you hadn't been in there stealing and da-da-da. So then,
back in your face.
Yeah, I think you're right about my grandfather having like done stuff, because he was always the one that would run interference and be like, you know what, it's over, let it go. And then we would be in the car to go to like the Home Depot or whatever, which wasn't far. And then we'd pass the Walmart. He'd be like, hey, you want to go in Walmart?
I feel like that's all grandpas though, because I got caught stealing and my mom and dad were ready to beat my ass. My grandpa stepped in and be like, he even told my dad, he's like, you did something this stupid when you were a kid too.
I think that's the case. I think a lot of people, I'm not a parent, so I don't understand like how a parent's reaction is.
I can understand why my parents were mad, but I can also understand why my grandpa stepped in.
Yeah. So he saved me from I think he knew that the shame and guilt I felt was enough punishment, and anything extra probably would have made me worse off, or like distanced me from the family.
You know, and people can generally tell like if you're sincerely feeling guilty or sorry about something.
Yeah, because I sold all the cars afterwards. I started over again, but I was like, nope, I sold all of them.
Were they just sitting there staring at you like,
you fucked up? You joke about it, but it was haunting.
You woke up and you're like, how did they get to my bedside table?
You know how like when people, my friends, I couldn't even, I always had to find an excuse to not, like my friends would be like, hey, let's go up to Walmart. And I'd break out into like a cold sweat. And I'm like,
like in Key and Peele when Keegan's like finding out about porn.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta go home and do some homework. Yeah, I gotta go home. Like, you tell your friends that I'm banned from Walmart until I'm 18. Yeah, after that I was like, nope, I don't need to be banned from no more stores. And I was like across the country, and the thing is, at first I didn't know if he was bluffing or not, but then I had to think about it. I was like, well, they got me on camera. They know my face. I was sitting in the security office. The security office has cameras.
Give a fuck about you going back into that Walmart? You could have probably gone in the next day.
Well, I could go in with a guardian, and I didn't want to risk it because, if anything, I felt like my luck had run out. So I was like, I'm not even going to risk it.
He played it smart, but they didn't have facial recognition on cameras like they do now.
Oh, no.
I know a lot of places still don't.
It's not
do
like
that,
they're gonna fax your picture
Target,
to all of them.
But the worst part is Target does. They had my student ID. That's how they identified me. And he knew my school, and he was like, oh, you go to... It was like... The shame really set in when he was like, oh, you go to Central. Oh, you go to one of those magnet schools, and you doing this shit? He was like, do you know what will happen if we send this to the school? Which... they could, because I am one of their students after school hours, you know, so I was like, oh man. So I was like on pins and needles. Like,
I bet you were quiet the whole time. Like,
what could I say?
Right.
I think for like that whole for that whole freshman or year, I was on pins and needles. I was like, all I need is that thing to show up one day and for them to be like, hey, come to the principal's office. You're out. You're done.
Yeah, I bet for a few weeks at least after that, you were like, oh shit.
I was probably the quietest student in the class because I was
you never told anybody?
Never told anyone.
Well, you guys heard it first here on GZ Chop Shop. My family knew.
Jesus.
Can you kick me out now?
I think, my family knew.
What you think about that, Central?
Was, but still was a fucking thief.
I was a Lupin.
Oh my God, Yuli, you don't have to put it like that. But yeah,
good grief. Wow, thanks, buddy. Thanks. And this is why I don't share my skeletons.
Hey, I got kicked out of school one time because I got caught. I mean, I've done other things, but we were skipping school like 2 or 3 times a week, and it was in this field, like this like wooded area that was by the high school, and it was like our millionth time skipping school, like a little group of us, and naturally they caught on because we're fucking retarded, and I didn't know this at the time, but somebody with us, one of my buddies, had a bag of weed on him. So when we were running from the cops, which we skipped school, like, why did we run? But we ran. And I saw him throw something. And later I found out what it was, and I was like, oh shit, I'm glad you threw that. But I'll never forget sitting in the office with this, like, it was this really overweight cop. And he said, you know what makes me the most upset? You made me chase you around those trees for like 15 minutes. And I'm sitting there, like, in my head, I'm trying not to laugh because I didn't take it that seriously. He wanted me to laugh, and I'm just sitting here like...
He wanted a reason to go in on you.
But, oof, yeah, my mom was pretty pissed. But shit happens, dude. Like, we all do stupid shit when we're kids, man.
I pretty
and that
much
just goes back to show you, don't judge people, man. You know, don't judge too harshly, because
I pretty much got kicked out of a Catholic school. But that's a story for another time. We'll save that story for another. And that was when I was a kid. Like,
we'll save that for we'll save that for your stream on Safe Space Friday.
I like you said you too. If you ever wonder why,
both of you.
I guess now you know why we're friends.
I'll come clean. I got kicked out of a church for fighting.
I didn't get kicked out for fighting. I
punched a kid in the nose.
Fuck that! I wasn't doing shit. I just stood there, listened to these fucking.
I was being bullied. This kid was like fucking with me, like kind of bullying me.
Punch him in the fucking face.
I punched him in his nose. I broke his nose, and the church said I couldn't come back, and I was like, but I thought God was forgiving.
I was just, you know what? I was just thinking, but here's the thing.
I haven't been to church since, by the way. I'm still out there. I haven't been to church since.
All I'm gonna say on that note is some churches are just they just oversell themselves, and that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Themselves.
He never fucked with me again though, and God saw it.
All right, what's our last topic? WandaVision.
I mean, we're pretty much an hour in. Do we need another topic?
Ooh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, so all I'll say is that go watch WandaVision, because we're going to talk about it next.
Watch WandaVision.
When I'm done with Doom Patrol, which by the way is like one of the funniest shit I've ever seen. I don't know if y'all have watched Doom Patrol, but it is fucking hilarious. Huh?
I've seen an episode 2.
No, dude, I'm in the second season, and it gets so much funnier.
Fucking season, shit.
It's hilarious, dude. Like, I watch it. You'll love it. You'll definitely love it.
I always thought it was gonna be like Titans, like super serious like that.
No, the Titans was good, but Doom Patrol went in a whole different direction, dude. It is fucking hilarious. But I plan on watching WandaVision when I'm done, but I highly recommend Doom Patrol for someone.
Dude, it's fucking 30 minutes an episode, and there's only 5 of them right now, 4 of them. You mean to tell me you can't watch that while you play a game or something?
No, because when I watch something like that, I want to watch it. So, like with Doom Patrol, I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch an episode or 2, and I pay attention, and I fucking die laughing. I did the same thing with Teen Titans. I was like really into it.
Oh, that's
now,
why
if I've seen it already, I'll play in the background.
He needs recovery time.
I do need recovery time, because what the fuck's the guy, the machine guy, the guy that looks like a robot? I can't fucking remember his name.
What, Brendan Fraser?
Huh?
Or Cyborg?
No, on Doom Patrol.
The bronze-looking robot with red eyes.
I know that's Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, and he plays that character in a way you have never seen him play a character.
I've seen all 3 Mummies
like that in other movies though. Like you've never seen him play a character like this, and he nails it. It is so damn funny.
I feel Brendan Fraser is a very underrated actor.
Dude,
underrated.
When you watch him in Doom Patrol, you'll see how underrated he is. He is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think he just made some bad calls.
Parents were psycho, like apocalypse bunker people, and they let him out into the real world, thinking that it's gonna be like, what's the name of that fucking movie?
Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past, I think it was called. That was a good fucking one.
Yeah, no, that was a good. That was a classic.
Classic.
And I think, I was going to say, if he had been given a chance to do more action-oriented movies, he could have gotten so much further. Because Journey to Center Earth, I thought was a good movie. The Mummy,
George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle,
funny, but it was
good movies. And he has that not necessarily over the top humor, but it's just like when he says certain things that are meant to be funny, they're funny.
They hit.
Yeah.
They hit.
He
was also
in Doom Patrol. He cusses more than Yuli does. I was blown away.
Possible?
It's possible, dude. It's possible. The amount of cussing and angst and pissed off he is half the time.
You know
Like,
what? They probably
like
came to him and were like, hey, take all that from what you've dealt with in Hollywood and put it into this character. Let it out. And then they heard it and they were like, oh.
You fucked up.
We fucked
Dude.
up.
There's parts where like some fucked up shit happens with like an enemy of some kind, and he's like, "What the fuck is this? What are you? Fuck you!" Like he just says shit like that, and I'm like, and I think of Yuli when he says shit like that because I'm like, that's some shit Yuli would say, and he'll like, "I don't have fucking time for this," and he'll just turn around, and walk off, and then it'll like fuck with him, and he's like, "Oh, you want to go then, bitch?" Like he'll flip him off and shit, and I'm like, this is a DC comic? Like this is hilarious. It's right up Yuli's alley, man. He's missing out.
Check it out.
All right, so it's a trade. He watches Doom Patrol, you watch WandaVision.
Yep.
There we go. I'll do it.
There you go.
You know what? I'll
Easy
finish
peasy.
Doom Patrol by the end of like Thursday.
I believe that. 100% believe that. All right, but we are at the end of this week's episode. This was actually very, very interesting. Real relaxed.
This was just a chill episode. We didn't really hit the news. We just chat shit.
You know what? That's cool though. I like having those kind of moments where we just let everybody know we are actual normal human beings. You know.
I mean, easy with the word normal.
Yeah, you're right. We're close-ish. I don't know. It's a funny year. It's been a funny 2 years. We're humanish. But anyway, if you guys want to pretty much get some more stuff from the episode, some special bonuses, make sure you check us out on patreon.com/the Jeezy Chop Shop. Also, make sure you visit our newly revamped website, thejeezychopshop.com.
We have
because
fresh
now,
articles there written by yours truly.
Yeah, we are writing the news articles for you guys. Some of the topics we talk about on the show. If we don't get to cover some of the things on the show that you guys recommend, we will write articles on it. Eventually, I want to try to add some forums for open discussions with you guys.
Also,
so
if
pretty
you
much you can connect with us.
and realize there's no cussing in it, I have to be professional. That's what Itachi told me.
Yes,
and I'm
you
not
must
reading this
maintain.
from a script. I'm actually, this is my intents and purpose. You can't spell purposes right. My intents and purposes.
Yuli does not do the writing.
If you actually want to see an article written by Yuli that has absolutely no profanity in it, that is a gem in and of itself. You got to go to the website.
His writing's good. Don't let Yuli fool you.
Yeah, it's actually really good art. He did an amazing piece on Tom Holland, Spider-Man. Warner's as well did an amazing piece on esports. Yeah, that was a good read. So if you guys want a little background education on esports and how it's continuing to dominate the entertainment industry, go to jeezychopshop.com. Check out those articles. There will be more added each week.
We're expanding it. We're going to do some reviews. I want to hear an Itachi review. This game, it's all right.
This game's all right.
I want to hear some roast. You don't like something I say or do? Put it out there because I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Send all roasts Ward Nurse's way, all complaints to Kara's direction. She's the
Keyboard
HR.
warrior away.
Don't send anything my way. I'm going to forget unless one of them reminds me. So if you want it to fall on deaf ears, send it my way.
I can already hear Kara with the raspy voice.
Fucking Itachi didn't fucking finish that article yet.
Is that? Oh, that's a Kara impression.
That's his Kara impression. She's so going to lay into him next week.
She's
I'm
so
just
good.
waiting for it.
I want to try.
Next
Guys,
week?
I
What are
don't
you
feel
talking
very
about? Once this episode comes out on Thursday, she's going to call me on Friday, be like,
What the fuck, Yuli?
You got her sound like Emperor Palpatine.
Execute order 66. Execute order 66.
That's what she's gonna execute. She's gonna execute that when she hears this.
Do it.
Oh my god.
Do it, Itachi.
Do it now.
Roger, Roger.
Anyway.
Kara's going to kill us.
Thank you, Patreons, for all your continued support. Hopefully I catch you guys in the live stream. You all stay safe out there, and we will catch all of you wonderful people in the next episode. Later, everybody.
Deuces.
Execute order 66.